FM. Still tuning in on 89.5 FM, the mother of community radio station in Africa. My name is Kusi.
I'm Kamit.
I'm Jordan.
And Jordan is joining us today, making sure that we have an awesome Friday show. And the first interview for the day, if you just missed out, who we had, Jordan?
We have Duncan today.
Our first interview for the day.
Oh, today, the first interview was our entrepreneurs. So it was very exciting with Liam and Bruce
speaking and saying that you who's tuning in now, you can, you can make it. And also the second interview, we had Chev, who's a certified counselor, saying that whatever you're going through, it starts in your mind. So if you take care of your mind, take care of your attitude towards things, everything will be cool, man. And also we had Matthew, a tattoo artist, saying that get more tattoos, which is like, And now we are so blessed to have
Duncan. So we are very excited to have you in studio today because there's a lot of exciting things coming with this as well. So please welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Nice. Duncan, where are you from though?
From Cape Town.
Cape Town is big.
Cape Town. Well, I'm from the South Retreat. Originally, my family's from Namibia. We moved to Cape Town like a week before I was born. So I have 3 older siblings who are all born in Namibia. And when we moved to Cape Town, I was born. I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate. But yeah, so I grew up in the retreat all my life. And
nice.
So we just want to know, basically, for those who might be discovering you for the first time, tell us a little bit about yourself as well as the journey in the music and how it began.
Whew. How much time do you have?
We have a lot for you. We'll even give you extra.
Damn. So, firstly, my name is Duncan Johnson. I'm currently 31 years old, turning 21 next year. And I grew up I went to Square Primary School. I had a teacher, so musically, the first thing that I remember, like where the inkling started, there was this guy that came to my primary school, Pedro the Music Man. I actually met him recently. I spoke to him and I explained to him like what I'm doing, and he was so happy. So he came to school and he showed us how to make music with all these little seaweeds and that he dries out and little pipes, and for me that was amazing. So that, like thinking back, that created the spark. Later on, I had a teacher, Mr. Van der Westhuizen, who's sadly passed on since. He explained to me about music and how people love music, and I was like, damn. And thinking back, these are all little moments that adds up, like people that just come into your life, they'll just tell you a few words, and then a few years later, you're like, oh, damn, that's where it came from. Anyway, went to South Peninsula High School, did music, took some piano lessons, eventually picked up the saxophone. And then my teacher was like, oh, you play the saxophone? I'm like, no, I was just checking it out. It's like, no, play in the concert next week. I was like, what? And then played saxophone at school, left school, went to study at UCT, composition and arrangement specifically. Dropped out of UCT, like in 4th year. And then since then, I've just been in the music industry. I've been working very closely with a guy named George Werner with the Little Giants, which is amazing. And since then, I've just been gigging with people in Cape Town, not all the greats, but a lot of great musicians who I've learned from. Stolen some ideas from, just interacting with and rubbing shoulders with amazing people, like fans, people that don't even play music. They just come to gigs all the time. And there's always something to learn from anyone. And since then, so right now I do a lot of jazz gigs with my band called the Plumies. We're playing at the Cape Town International Jazz Fest on the Friday. I think that's the 25th of April. And I do a lot of weddings, like a lot. It's crazy.
To a point where like, I want to get married
yeah.
to. Are you married
No.
Oh, you don't want to.
I can wait. I can wait. But yeah, so that's pretty much me. I write music, I arrange music, I play music, I play all kinds of instruments, and
Nice, man. Nice.
And you've been in the industry for a while now. Like, how would you say your sound has evolved over the years?
Ooh, that's a good question. So like I said, I do a lot of weddings now. So unfortunately, I don't do a lot of jazz gigs per se, and because a lot of weddings you don't play jazz. People want to hear Bruno Mars, they want to hear George Michael, Careless Whisper. So a lot of it becomes very repetitive. But when I do get that opportunity to play a jazz gig, I'm like, yes, even if it doesn't pay anything, I'm like, yeah, book me for that gig, because for me that's an opportunity to learn, and by surrounding myself with people that I get to learn with is very valuable to me. So by listening to a lot of South African jazz, I think my sound has become a lot more South African. There's a few people that I listen to a lot. I just made a post this morning about Ramon Alexander. His music, he's a piano player. His music is amazing. So I listen to his music a lot. There's the Robbie Jansen, which I listen to a lot. There's Winston Mankunku. So I have a huge love for South African jazz. And I think my sound has moved its way towards that. So, yeah.
So what has been the biggest challenge you faced as an artist, and how did you overcome it? Because I'm sure there's like challenges, and not only that, there's also the different types of music, and then you have to evolve with the times as well, as you've said.
Yeah. Asking me all the tough questions. Because I'm trying to think, where do you start answering a question like that? Look, there's always going to be difficulties. Whether it's someone you work with that you don't particularly like, whether it's music that's too difficult for you to play, which is often the case for me. But I mean, just putting in the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort, like, and it sounds very simple. It sounds very simple, but if you, it's not as easy as it sounds, because you can decide, okay, I'm going to put down 3 hours to learn whatever. But when you get to it, like we all know, you're like, I can do this tonight. And then tonight comes, you're like, it's late. I don't want to bother people. And then like, I've got time tomorrow morning, and then you sleep late. You're like, I can. So those are issues that artists, I guess, in all fields deal with. But how do you overcome it? That's, I don't know. I can't give you that answer.
Because, I mean, we're also talking about sometimes the stage fright, like myself today. I don't know if anyone's been hearing the stage fright is real. But it's more of like, because I know that idea that you're going to stand in front of so many people. And sometimes if someone is new in the industry, or if they've just decided this is a passion, how do you overcome the idea that, okay, all these eyes are looking at me?
Yeah. Okay, so fun fact, the fear, the nervousness, it never goes away. You just get used to it eventually. It becomes your friend. You're like, okay, cool, like, here we are again. But things that could help with that is being prepared. Getting to the event early so you can relax, you can, absorb the atmosphere. When you get there early and you are prepared, you don't stress that much. But you'll notice the only times you actually stress is when you don't know exactly what you should know. Like an exam. You stress the most when you're nervous because you didn't study. But if you've studied, you just walk and you're like, let's go.
So we're saying preparation is key.
Yep.
Okay.
If you just tuned in now, you're listening to Morning Cruise, where we're speaking with Duncan Johnson, a jazz musician, a sax player. I want to know, how do you compose music? Where do you get your inspiration from, and how does it come to a track?
Look, so many compositions, they come to you in different ways. It comes from, like, you could be sitting somewhere and you would just hear something, or someone would hum something, or you would hear someone say a phrase. Like, I heard something on the radio like a while back, and it says the sound of grass growing. And it sounds weird because you can't hear grass grow. So for me, I'm like, damn, that's a good song title. So now over the next few weeks, months, I'm going to think about the sound of grass growing and how that transfers to me musically. But in the past, I've composed music, so I have to mention, like, 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago, my mom passed away. And a few weeks after that, I composed 2 songs like within the span of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that was my inspiration, the heartache. And the one song is called Milady, which is in memory of my mom, which I've recorded with my band recently. And yeah, so that inspiration can come from anywhere, literally anywhere.
And how is it to work your way up? Like, because I'm from Belgium, I don't know how the jazz scene in Cape Town works. Do you get like a lot of...
She loves jazz.
Yeah, I love jazz.
Okay.
She's a jazz fanatic. I was shocked. You're so young, but you like jazz. Like, yo, Kusi, you don't understand. Jazz does this in your body.
No, the jazz lovers are getting younger and younger. And I'm all for it. I love it. So there was this guy when I was younger also. I asked him, I was like, yo, book me for a gig, man, book me for a gig. Obviously being very immature, like I couldn't play that well. And I was like, book me for a gig. And he told me, hey, you must go to jam sessions. And I didn't know what he meant. I was like, oh, I don't want to go jam, book me for a gig, man. And then eventually I went to jam sessions, like Swingers in Ottery. I went to Swingers a lot. And there were other jam sessions also happening around the city. And then the more you play, the more you learn, the more you meet other musicians, and the more they see you. And eventually the one guy goes, he's like, hey man, are you available for a gig on Thursday? I was like, yeah, book me. And then you gig with them. And the benefit for me of going to Swingers specifically was there was a lot of older musicians that I looked up to. And just being on stage with them was like mind-blowing. I was like, yes, I'm gigging with like some top musicians. And eventually they booked me for a gig. And in my mind, I was like, I made it. Like, oh, I'm being booked. And that became a more gradual thing where more people saw me play and more people booked me. And in turn, I learned more. And then from there is just by people seeing what you do. So you can't go to someone and be like, hey, I play saxophone. Can you book me for a gig? They want to know what you play like, what do you sound like, who are you? So you basically show them what you can do by going to jam sessions.
So, Duncan, talking about an artist that is playing saxophone, we can't just talk about saxophone without you giving us a taste, you know? Is it possible for that taste?
Look, if you insist.
Yeah. So Duncan is going to give us a small anyana thing in terms of, you know, giving us that sound so that we can enjoy on 89.5 FM. Exclusively. Just a small. It's not going to be a whole thing. Please don't be mad if he stops while you're enjoying it. Let's go.
So obviously I'm playing just solo saxophone. So this is a song that I composed. It's called Ons Gaat Kaap Toe. You good?
That is Duncan on 89.5 FM. Duncan, thank you very much for being part of the show. And also your saxophone, when did you start? Did someone gifted you or you bought it?
It's funny you say those words exactly. It's funny you say those exact words because someone did give this to me. This was 2013. My school sent me on this global exchange, global classroom thing. And I traveled. There was this lady in my church that said she has a daughter and son in Australia. Anyway, long story short, traveled to Australia, met the guy for the first time. His name is Andre, and introduced myself to him, and he's like, what, you play saxophone? He's South African, by the way, that's living there now. And he told me, he's like, I also play saxophone, let's go jam. He took out the tenor saxophone, he took out the alto, and he put on some music and we're playing. And he's like, yo, do you like it? I'm like, yeah, it sounds lekker. And then he said like, oh, well, it's yours.
Wow.
And that's this very saxophone that I'm playing with.
Is this still the same? How old is it now?
Well, I've had it for 12 years.
Damn.
And he's obviously had it way before then. He gave it to me. I took it back home. He even paid for it to be serviced. And I mean, that's just a huge blessing that I've
Coming
gotten.
back to what you said earlier about dropping out at UCT, I find that nowadays there's a lot of people that are dropping out in universities for obviously different reasons, and some of them, there's a whole lot of things. So for you to drop out, how did that make you feel? Because you seem to be still going strong.
Yeah. Look, so partly the reason I dropped out, well, mostly the reason is I became busy outside of UCT. So I didn't have time to attend lectures. I'd be booked for gigs or rehearsal or something, and I started working with a lot of musicians. And I guess I was just super lazy also. Because, I mean, I could have made a plan to go to classes, but me being a young me, I was just like, I want to go gig, man. That's the reason I'm at UCT, is to become a musician in order to perform. So if I can perform without having to be there, I'll take it. Because in my mind, like, UCT was very valuable in nurturing that beginning steps of being a musician. But I learned a lot of the what you would call street smart outside of UCT.
So now, when do you think you'll be able to finish a degree?
Man.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And do you think the school will be able to take you back again?
I mean, no, definitely. And I mean, it's not that difficult. It's just time that I don't have to invest in that. Because there's lots happening. Like, for me personally, I actually looked at it the other day. In this year alone, for the past 3 months, I've done maybe 80 odd gigs.
Yeah.
Right? And that's minus rehearsals, that's minus practicing on my own, that's minus checking out music. So that's a lot. Sometimes I do up to 3 gigs per day.
Sure.
And then there's always things I'm planning. There's other gigs that I'm booking. Like, I'm running a jam session every Sunday at the Shed in Muizenberg. And I'm planning a Robbie Jansen tribute show in October at Artscape. I don't know the exact date yet. I haven't gotten that. But basically it's going to be like reliving our jazz legends, basically. So I want to be telling the story of Robbie Jansen, because I love South African jazz, like I said. But I don't even know half of everything that's happened. So imagine the youngsters coming through Cape Town's jazz scene now. They know even less. Because, I mean, I love it, so I always seek it out. But I don't even know like half of what we do. But so in my mind, my duty is almost to educate at the same time. While I'm enjoying myself, there's always that duty to educate and explore and make known the unknown, I guess.
Make known the unknown.
Not that Robbie Jansen's unknown. I'm not saying that he is a legend in his own right. But I think it's for the younger generations that's coming through now. They definitely need to know where we come from.
And then the decision of you dropping out of university, did it affect you with family? Because we know families. We're like, my son finished that degree.
Yeah, no, it was a thing. My mom, she wasn't particularly impressed. She wasn't impressed with me doing music in the first place. But I mean, it grew on her eventually, and she saw that it made me happy. Like, we had many conversations. She always wanted me to be a doctor or something like that. Although I could, and this is what I explained to my mom, it would not have made me as happy as music does. Because I've always been this sort of free spirit. I don't want to use those words, but you know, in an extent, I think that's the best way to explain this. I've always just done what I felt. And I mean, I've been blessed in so many ways. There's just blessings from nowhere, from everywhere at the same time. And my mom always, like, when I told my mom, like, look, I'm going to a gig, I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you tonight, or whatever. Then she always said, die Here vooruit en jy agterna. And I live with that today. And I heard you talking with someone that does tattoos.
Yeah,
Funny.
Matthew.
I got this tattoo 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
And it says exactly that. Die
Wow.
Here vooruit en jy agterna.
Damn, man. How long did it take you, though, to do that one?
The tattoo?
Yeah.
Like, what, 20 minutes? 30?
Okay. You put it in a place where it's so painful. Okay, Duncan, because of time, after the news, we'll be playing your song. But before we let you go, though, quickly, if people want to get a hold of you, want to follow you, want to see your gigs, maybe they want to book you for a wedding this weekend. Are you going to any wedding this weekend? You seem to be going
I'm actually going to a wedding right now after
Oh,
this.
I was joking about it.
I'm not joking. I'm
What?
going to a wedding now, and then tomorrow morning early, like at 4 a.m., I need to be at the airport, flying to Muizenberg to play at another wedding.
Whoa.
Exciting.
Damn, I'm jealous now. Put me in your bag. So it's time for African News Headline. 061-862-10. Duncan, quickly, give us details. Where can people get hold of you?
Okay, Instagram, Duncan_Johnson5. And then I also have a website, which is Duncan-Johnson. Duncan-Johnson.com.
Okay.
And Facebook, there's Duncan Johnson, Cape Town saxophonist. I mean, message me anywhere. I'll reply as soon as I can.
Bye-bye. Thank you.